Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. At the end of the last episode, we finally completed Gobi's Valley, but we also completed, finally, Bubble Gloop Swamp and Freeze Easy Peak, because now that we had the, since we were able to use the running shoes, we were actually able to go back to those other previous worlds and finish some stuff up that we weren't able to do before. Well, technically Bubble Gloop Swamp we were, but I chose not to just to make life a little bit easier. That's just how I roll. But now it is time to go ahead and bust open the next note door. We are needing 450 notes and we have plenty. So it is time to go ahead and unlock the next note door since we have 600 notes. And it is now time to access yet again another section of the layer. And as you can see, we have some water here. So this is the first time we've seen this much water. We've seen a little bit of it in an earlier section. Of course, we have a shrapnel there, so we want to be careful not to set him off and have him explode on us. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and travel through this tunnel right here. And as you can see, we have another chump. This is another large fish enemy. We've seen him before, again in an earlier section. We have some more water in this room, but we actually cannot do really anything in this room yet. We will be returning here because there's actually a world, an entrance to another world in that room, but we haven't unlocked it yet, and we can't even get up there. So we're going to travel through this tunnel because this will take us to where we need to find our next puzzle challenge. That ugly bear and feathered freak is nothing but a stupid geek. Man, Grunty, you're just insulting. You need to just give up the rhyming and just go back to etiquette school because your manners are something else. But now, we have entered another section of the layer. We have another chump there. And we're going to go ahead and actually jump on these platforms if I can get my camera to face the right direction. And yeah, as you can see, we have some lit torches kind of lighting up the path here. We have a whip crack over there to the left. And as you can see, there's a puzzle challenge out there in the distance. And that will actually allow us to unlock the next world of the game. But yeah, I gotta say, I definitely love all these different parts of the layer. From the outside, the layer doesn't look that big, but once you get inside and explore, as you can see, we have a nice little lit, like little cavern type section here. I just love how it looks in here. It just looks so, I don't know, just very eerie, creepy, and just has a very just eerie vibe to it, and definitely matches the tone of the main antagonist, Gruntilda. But now we're going to go ahead and step on the next jigsaw pad, and we will unlock Mad Monster Mansion, the next world of the game. And there is the entrance to Mad Monster Mansion. We've actually not been over in that area yet, but we actually have unlocked that section. As you can see, we have a nice giant mansion. Very spooky, haunted type themed world that's coming up next. So again, I love the variation of worlds. Actually, I don't really know if I've mentioned this a lot in this Let's Play, but I think one of the main things that makes this game stand out to me the most is not only the unique and funny characters and some of the dialogue they get, but it's the variation of level design and level themes. Like you go from, you know, kind of like a basic mountain type area, and then you eventually get into like a treasure island type of world, and then you go into you know, eventually like a snowy level. We just had a desert level, Gobi's Valley, and now we're going into a haunted area. So this is very nice. I just love the different variations, and just this game feels very diverse with its level design, level themes, and of course the gameplay. But now we're gonna go ahead and head back through the door that we actually just unlocked, because if you remember, I said the entrance to Mad Monster Mansion, I didn't mean to fall there and take some damage, but the entrance to Mad Monster Mansion is actually already accessible to us. It was already accessible before, we just weren't able to enter the world because we didn't have the, of course we didn't unlock it with the puzzle challenge. But now if we go through Gruntilda's mouth, if you remember, we had this lava area. This is where we actually unlocked Gobi's Valley, but we did not proceed on through this path. So this is where we are now going to go, because in here, and again, we still have some more to do over there, but we still can't do anything yet with that. So we're going to go through this tunnel, and voila, as you can see, we are now in the entrance area to Mad Monster Mansion. We have some nice tombstones here, where I guess some nice, some, you know, spirits and corpses are buried, you know, beneath these. Not anything creepy at all, just being in like essentially a graveyard, I guess is what you would call it. It really does sound quite absurd. Adventure of a bear and bird. Actually, if you travel all the way past the entrance of Mad Monster Mansion, behind it you'll see this gate. And believe it or not, you can actually break it open with Kazooie's Rat-a-tat-rap attack. So we continue on forward. We have, of course, a Gruntling with the blue-coated one. But as you can see, there's a little building right here. And there's a door right here with a big gaping hole in it, but we actually can't do anything with this. So you actually cannot even enter this area quite yet. There's a nice extra life here kind of hanging out behind the building. But we will actually need to do something in Mad Monster Mansion first before we're able to access this building here. You can even see with Kazooie's beak attacks, you know, we can't really do anything with it even with Kazooie. It looks like it could easily be broken down with Kazooie, but of course we can't do anything with that yet. So we will have something that will, of course, get Mad Monster Mansion that will allow us to get in there. But now we are going to go ahead and enter Mad Monster Mansion now. I hope you're in this Halloween spirit and the spooky vibes, because this world is full of it. So as you can see, we have a giant mansion, hence the name Mad Monster Mansion, located directly in the center of the world. And all around it are a lot of fun and spooky things that we have to do in order to get our 10 Jiggies. So first things first, we're actually going to break open, there's some gates here we actually need to break open with Kazooie. Funny enough, you actually cannot break those from the inside. So if there's actually areas where I think you can get in like on the opposite side of the gates, but you cannot break open the gates unless you're on the outside for some weird reason. I guess it's because the lock's on the outside. But anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and break open the cellar door, and we are now in a cellar. So what we need to do here is break open these barrels that have randomly the number 1881 on every single one of them. I'm not sure exactly how that works in terms of storage, because they're all numbered the same, but this one actually contains the first Jiggy, so we're gonna go ahead and collect that. There are a few more collectibles in here. I see there's some notes up here on this shelf back here on the back wall. And there's actually a few, you saw we had a Mumbo token in one of the barrels. There's a few other things in here to find, like this Jinjo. You definitely don't want to skip any of these barrels. You want to bust them all open. And I think it's, oh, didn't mean to get burnt by that lit torch there. I think it's this one that has, okay, no, that has golden feathers. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, so this one's actually the, it'll lead you into the next Stop and Swap egg location, which I've already collected them on my main file. So they're not going to appear on here, but I've kind of went over the stop and swap function briefly in this Let's Play. I'm not going to go really too in depth with that right now, but that's in case you're wondering where one of the other locations is. And I believe there's actually a second location for stop and swap in this mansion as well. But now we're going to go simply just travel across these, the roof of this giant mansion. As you can see, Mumbo's hut's actually out there in the distance. So we will have another transformation in this world. We haven't seen Mumbo since Freeze Easy Peak. So we will have something that we're going to be able to transform into to make this world a little bit easier, and we'll actually be able to access some areas we weren't able to do as regular bear and bird form. But at the top of the roof here, we have another Jinjo. He's just chilling right here on the spooky, creepy roof. This guy's crazy. Like, these Jinjos just, and I know they were kind of captured and I guess placed in certain locations, but again, like, I know they don't really have wings, but again, like, he can just like, you tell me he can't just like, I don't know, slowly get to the gate and get off of this spooky mansion? I don't know, at least chill inside, have some food, do something. But if we get to the top of this little pipe area, we will be sent through the mansion. And as you can see, there's actually a Mumbo token right there in one of the flames. But right here, we are in a fireplace in this giant room, and these chairs are like, man, like giant size. But what we're gonna do is actually be very careful here. Jumping on these chairs, you'll be fine. But once you get to the table, you want to kind of slowly but surely kind of sneak up on this ghost guy. And if you get right inside of him, he holds a Jiggy. Grunty's gold, how it's shown. She'll be mad. Now it's gone. Yes, I'm mad. My boot I'll put up your useless spooky boot. I don't know how that was supposed to rhyme, but I guess the words are spelled the same, so it still works. But now we have obtained Jiggy number 2, and that was actually Napper. He's actually a larger version of a Teehee, which is I know it's kind of a funny name, but it's actually the name of the ghost enemies in this world. So I believe this is the only time they appear in the game. But you'll kind of see, we'll see a little bit more of them once we get into some other areas as well. There's actually a church, nice little haunted church we're going to be visiting very soon. And I believe there's a few of those guys in there. But we have this flight pad. Doesn't really give us a lot to do in here. I wish they kind of gave us like a jiggy on top of that chandelier as well, or like a honeycomb or something. But if you look on the walls, there's portraits of all the familiar characters we've already seen in the game. There's Klungo, we saw Brintilda, there's a Mumbo. That's an awesome pose of Mumbo there. That's actually Grunty's broomstick over there, and that's actually at the top of Grunty's lair, that picture way over there. So nice little inclusions. We get to see some familiar sights that we've already seen in the game. I love how they do that. I know it's kind of like a simple, kind of pointless thing to do, but I don't know why. I just love the extra thing where they kind of add in like imagery or you know, things you've already encountered or seen in the game or haven't yet in like just like portraits or like pictures. I always thought that was really cool as a kid. And I still think it is today. And there's actually a lot more cameos and Easter eggs, I believe actually in this world and a couple other worlds coming up, where we'll see pictures of characters that we actually don't encounter in this game, but they're either in other games or there's one that's actually in the sequel to this game. But right here, another picture of, we actually have the portrait Champas here, similar to the grill ones that come out of the grates. These guys come out of the portraits. Again, another portrait of the top of Grunty's lair. There's some stuff underneath this these wooden boards, but we actually cannot obtain them. We can't reach them as regular Banjo. We actually have to transform into our next transformation to get those. But moving right along across this mansion, there's actually several windows we're going to be busting open with Kazooie's Rat-a-tat-rap attack, so pay close attention to all the windows because there is going to be something important in pretty much all of them. We have some limbos. Those are the skeleton enemies of the game. Pretty easy to take down, but they can be kind of annoying because they don't really die. They just kind of fall apart and then they'll kind of, you know, come back together. But this here is a Logo. This is actually the toilet NPC, as funny as that sounds. Yeah, there's a toilet NPC in this game. I mean, it's Banjo-Kazooie, come on. Gurgle. Bear is much too fat to fit in Logo's mouth. So yes, we actually can't do anything with Logo yet. We will have to come back here once we transform into our next transformation at Mumbo's. Yes, there's a lot to do with the transformations, of course, just like in any world that has Mumbo's hut and a transformation. But I do believe this is actually another stop and swap egg location. I believe there's two in this world. That's why we heard that music when we first entered that window. But now we're going to move on to the next window. I believe there's another one on this side. No, we've already busted that one open. I believe there's some on like every level of this thing. So there's some on the bottom. I think there's some on the top here we missed as well. I'll go ahead and use a shock jump pad to get back up there. Go ahead and see if we can do this time. Here we go. And you do our Talentron move. That way we can have a little bit more stability. And we can walk across this roof with no problem. I love being able to walk across all these different diagonal, slanted slope type platforms. But now we are in the next area. Nice little beautiful picture of Gruntilda right there. Looking all mean and fierce and green. Go ahead and just take care of these portrait Champas. We have some more notes here. And the notes in this world, this is kind of what I was talking about in the last episode. I believe it was last episode where I kind of mentioned how the notes and the collectibles are a lot more spread out throughout the world. Actually, there was like 1 or 2 notes in there. So they're not as linear as they were in the earlier world. So that's kind of something that's interesting where you're really going to have to really explore every square inch of these last few worlds because we only have like 2 more worlds left in the game after this one, and it only gets more complicated as it goes on. Like things aren't just really given to you anymore. You kind of have to work more for them, explore a lot more of the world, and really scope out every square inch. And here is the first teehee other than Napper. That is a teehee. Teehee. I had to do it, sorry. Nothing in that chest, can't really do anything there, but there's a Jinjo on top of this gorgeous freaking bed. I love this thing. It's such a spooky and random location for a beautiful bed like this, but I've always wanted to sleep in a bed like that. Never have till this day, but it's on the bucket list. But if we use that shock jump pad, we're going to go ahead and grab that Jinjo on top of the bed, the beautiful bed, like, you know, made for royalty. And there's actually a picture of that pirate on the wall. He's actually from the sequel to this game. So that's something I kind of like as well. That's a nice little Easter egg. See if I can get a nice shot of him here. Right here, this guy. Yeah, he actually does not appear in this game at all. And it's actually funny because if there's people that are playing this game that have never played the sequel, they probably have no idea why there's just a random portrait of a pirate guy. But he actually appears in the sequel to this game. So that's actually something I find very interesting. And I don't know if they had that plan or if they just made to, I can't remember if he was meant to be in the first game and they decided to scrap him last minute and just kind of include a portrait of him as like an Easter egg. But I love that they do that, and he is in the sequel, so that's kind of cool as well, making that connection, a little connective tissue between the two games. But now we're going to pop into this next room. Of course, more portraits to break. We have that pirate again. That again is in the sequel of this game, but we have a few more collectibles. Not really anything important in here, I don't think, just a bunch of eggs. So yeah, some of these rooms are kind of pointless, but it's important to make sure you just check them all out just in case you're missing notes or something, and they could be in some of these rooms. So not as linear as they were in the first few worlds, but now I think we pretty much explored pretty much the entire perimeter of this mansion, top to bottom. Oh, nope, there's another window right here. How could I forget this one? Come on. Go ahead and jump in here. Some more lovely portraits of a nice creepy moon. We have another limbo that's going to harass us and corner us like a crazy guy. We have more Gruntilda portraits. We have... Ooh, we have a portrait of some teehees. That's kind of cool. They are, I guess, narcissists, and they're very much into themselves, so much that they had to have portraits of themselves in this room, inside this mansion. Very nice. We're going to go ahead and see what else. I think that's it, actually. I think that was the last window to break open. And I love that they have, like, windows that are breakable, where I think the first time I played this world, I never knew you could break open those windows. So that's something that's kind of nice, where they... again, they're kind of more clever when it comes to hiding the collectibles and kind of making you work for things. Like, I think I actually had to look up a guide to even realize you could break open those windows. But now we have a nice little, I guess, like, little green, nasty fountain type looking thing. We have a whip crack in there, the little tentacle looking thing that makes that gross whipping sound, whatever. We haven't seen them since Clanker's Cavern, I believe, so they kind of reappear now. And they will show up again, I believe, in the overworld. And there's a couple sections where they, I believe there's like a tunnel where there's like a ton of those guys in there. They're so, those guys gross me out. I don't know what it is. It's just like a random little tentacle thing whipping back and forth. And I'm sorry, but the name of Whip Crack for that enemy, why? Like, I don't know. But as you can see right here, we can't break open this gate because we're on the opposite sides. That's kind of dumb. I don't know why they made it like that. I understand the locks on the other side, blah, 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 logic, whatever. I mean, the one time they're going to use logic and they have to do it here. But now we have a switch with the clock symbol on it. We're going to go ahead and hit that, and that'll open a door to a haunted church. So we actually need to use the running shoes to get over there because they gave us like 15 seconds. Because again, if the game did not step itself up in difficulty by now, it is now time to do it here. But we should have plenty of time to go ahead and enter, 1 second to spare, this haunted church. And as you can see, we have a giant organ right there. At the very far side of the church, we have some giant teehees that are gonna get in our way here. The Wonder Wing's the only way to kill these guys, so I would just kind of avoid them. But if you have, you know, some Wonder Wings to spare, you might as well just take them out. But they can be kind of annoying if you don't, because they can just essentially just continuously harass you until they corner you, and then you'll take a lot of damage, and it's just not fun. But we're gonna go ahead and jump on these benches. We have a bunch, or not a bunch, but we have a few notes that are located on the top of these two seats. There's actually 2 more here in the front row, so we'll go ahead and take these, or collect these notes that are up here. We have some eggs, don't really need any more of those. Again, 200 is well more than enough eggs we're ever going to need on this adventure at one time. I honestly can't think of any part of this game where you actually are required to have like 200 eggs for any given quest, or you know, any given jiggy at all. But anyways, we're gonna move right along because why not? So if we get on these little steps here at the bottom of the organ, we have more notes. We already have half of the notes in this world, so we're making fine work of this place already. Mumbo token right there on the shock jump pad, and we are now up on the keys. But up here at the top, we will have a giant hand. Matsan plays his organ with ease, but can you follow him on the keys? So basically what we want to do here is just follow this guy's lead, and we want to wait until he plays a specific key, and we actually want to use Kazooie's Beak Buster move on those keys. And he will not only do the bottom keys, but he will play the top keys, like this one right here. So you want to pay pretty close attention. He moves very slow. It's almost impossible to lose this. If you do, I don't know what to tell you, but you need to brush up on your Banjo-Kazooie skills. But Not bad, bear. But now watch me. Copy this tune, and amazed I will be. He's going to play another song for us. Again, he moves very slow. We just want to follow his lead. He moves a little bit quicker, I guess, in this round, but it's not anything where it's like crazy impossible. Just want to continue to follow his lead here, play all the same keys he's playing. And I don't know what it is about this guy, and I don't know if anyone's ever thought of this, but he reminds me of the giant hand, like the Master Hand final boss when you're playing Super Smash Bros. That's exactly what he reminds me of, like the white glove thing. Like, I know he's on a glove, he's just like a ghost hand, but he resembles that guy. I always think of that guy when I when I play this part. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can follow this song. Looks like we're doing a great job so far. We are a master on the organ. I love it. Go ahead and play that last key, and it looks like we were correct. Your music skills are mighty fine. So take this golden piece of mine. I love that. Not piece of mine, get it? I love that. But anyways, I can see we have a sheet music here. That's actually the musical score, I believe, for the music theme for this level, Mad Monster Mansion. I do believe that is what that is. So now we're going to jump on top of these up here, and another extra life behind this section over here. We want to actually make our way up top here because we will find the next Jiggy right here. Very nice. Number 3. So we still have a ways to go. Make sure we don't miss any notes right here because, again, we want to make sure we collect every collectible at every square inch of this place because we could miss out on our 100% completion if we don't. Go ahead and take this flight pad that is conveniently placed for us right here. We can actually fly all the way up to the top of this beam up here. And as you can see, our first empty honeycomb is located right here, just floating in the air, waiting for us to take it. We'll take care of this limbo guy because with the Wonder Wing, you can actually completely destroy them, so that's kind of nice. Take out that Nibbler, as he's called, the little bat enemy, and we'll go ahead and actually collect this golden feather. I'm trying to make sure I'm not falling off this beam because that's a giant drop down back to the floor if we do fall off, which we will eventually have to jump off eventually. But I'm going to worry about that once I have to. There's another Mumbo token located up here as well. But if you make your way over here, you will find a Grunty switch. We'll go ahead and ground pound that. And that's going to make a Jiggy appear in Gruntilda's eye. That's got to hurt. I'm just kidding. It's just a little statue head of Gruntilda back in the lair. In that little central area that we were before, right outside of Freezeezy Peak's entrance. But since we have collected pretty much everything we need to collect up here, I don't care about those eggs, we are now going to have to jump down.